Hi, I'm David Moss with Moss Nissan. When it comes to servicing your vehicle, Moss Nissan is simply the best. You'll notice the difference the moment you walk through our door. Our team is like family, and we look forward to treating you like part of our family. With our state-of-the-art service facility, factory-trained technicians, we are more equipped to service all make and models. Plus, with our extended service hours, our pickup and drop-off service, you can have your vehicle serviced according to your schedule, not ours. Experience the Moss difference today. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. We've got our traditional Metal Hammer of Doom show for you tonight. We're going to review the latest album from thrash metalers Megadeth, Dystopia. And I'll tell you what, it's a marked improvement over their last one, which we also covered on this show. 2012 Super Collider. Who doggy did that suck? And I believe I said as much over and over and over again on that show. You can go back in the archives and listen to Robert Cooper lamely try to defend it, but yeah, it was pretty terrible. Dystopia is much better. We're going to break it down track by track by track by track by track by track. In the meantime, let me go ahead and bring on the Metal Faithful, host of Source Material here on Monday nights on the Radulich Broadcasting Network, and sometimes from Cheap Seats with Jason Teasley. Here he is, folks, Mr. Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Good evening, sir. How's it going?
So, my daughter this morning, she wasn't hype enough. She was dragging a little bit of tushy. Okay. And I'm trying to tell you she wasn't awake. So okay. So I go into her room. My mom's trying to get her up to get dressed, and she's just made of spaghetti at this point. She's not singing, I'm not doing nothing. At which point I proceed to start yell singing "Stand" by REM.
Did she stand?
It makes a great motivational song. It really does. It also reminded me of that old show. I don't know if you remember. It was a sitcom on Fox that they used "Stand" as the opening theme. But she eventually did "Stand," and because I couldn't remember all the words to it, I actually played it on Spotify, and that's what everyone wanted to hear at 6 o'clock this morning, was me blasting REM "Stand" in the house.
Is the kid not is she not a morning person?
Not really. She kind of has a hard bedtime of 9 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, she's usually out cold. Even 8 o'clock.
Almost like her dad.
Yeah, almost like her dad. Even 8 o'clock sometimes if she's gotten up really early and hasn't napped. But she's very much, when she wants to go to sleep, That's it. She would just plop down anywhere. She's definitely got some of my homeless tendencies, where she'll fall asleep in public. She's fallen asleep at my brother-in-law's wedding. You know, she fell asleep at the Royal Rumble. She just, she's like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
It's over with. It's night time.
Yeah. My son, however, is made of mostly cocaine, and he never.
Oh man. Well, trust me, I feel you on the getting the kids up in the morning stuff. Kira, my only daughter, easy. I mean, easy. She sets her alarm 7 a.m. She's up. She's ready to rock and roll. Now, Caleb, you go up there and it's like, trying to pry. You got to try and pry him out of bed to get him going, and it mostly involves you having to make some kind of a deal with him in order to get his ass up. So I feel you, man. Trust me.
You got a wheel and deal.
Got a wheel and deal. You got to try and get these kids out of bed. Listen, we'll do ice cream. You hungry for some ice cream? Let's get ready for school.
Yeah, I kind of have to do that with my son to get him to bed. Like I'm in the bed with him, he's carrying on, just throwing a complete tantrum. I'm like, do you want to go to? Now he's almost 2. I'm like, you want to go to the gym tomorrow? And by that I mean Gymboree. Yeah. You want to go see Kung Fu Panda? Yeah. Want to go to the park tomorrow? Yeah. Actually, I'm not doing a good impression of my son. If you'll allow me, you'll indulge me for a moment. Let me do it again. Jonas, want to go to the gym tomorrow? Yeah. Jonas, want to go see Kung Fu Panda? Yeah. Jonas, you want to go to the park tomorrow and go play? Yeah. I don't know how this happened, but I have a Swedish son.
Yeah, you got a Swedish son over there, man. Oh,
yeah,
that's hilarious.
He used to eat, when you ask him questions, he's like, yeah. He's good, yeah.
Oh, man.
So let me bring on somebody to the show who is definitely is good, not somebody I have to sing stand to or really worry about his bedside because he's a grown ass man. Here he is, folks. The Metal Coop, Mr. Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
I was the Lowe's bitch today. It was pretty good. I'm just getting off work. But on the bright side, I have listened to this album 3 times on the clock. So technically,
you're putting in work.
Oh yeah, I get to supplement my work day with fucking shredding.
That's awesome.
Glorious. You see, it's funny. You're talking about putting your kids to bed. Until 7th grade, my bedtime was 8 p.m. It did not matter if it was the summer, the winter, a holiday, my birthday, fucking anything. 8 o'clock.
Wow.
That was my bedtime. Yep.
Jeez.
Yep. Now, when I went to my dad's, I got to go to bed 10 or so. But that's because I went to daycare when I was a kid because my parents both, they both work, and they work until 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So I'd pretty much get up at 8 or go to bed at 8 and get up at 6. That was pretty much until 7th grade. And there was no bargaining. I remember once I kept getting up in the middle of the night. In 1st grade, my mom said, you get up again, I'm not signing you up for Cub Scouts. I got up again. I've never been a Boy Scout in my life, so there you go.
Yeah,
there was no wager. It was like you go to she once actually put a timer on my television in about 8th grade, so I would go to bed, except she kind of forgot that I knew I could figure out how things work, so all I did was I'd flip when the thing would time off, I'd just flip it the other way.
Hey,
off.
Let me ask you a question there, bub. What was your opinion of Super Collider? Because I know I hated it. It sucked.
You don't remember, Mark? Oh, come on! It was only hell, it wasn't even 2 years ago, was it? It was a year and a half. Yeah. Super Collider. What was that?
Go ahead.
Super Collider.
What I was reading, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Go on.
The Super Collider Kingmaker was a pretty cool song. That Thin Lizzy cover was nice. And there was 1 or 2 good riffs between the rest of the album, but the Blackest Crow will forever piss me off. I remember I went on a huge rant about that one, and you're like, you don't mix country and metal. You played me Clutch, I think. I was like, baby. But yeah, that album, I was so mad. And my buddy Nick, he actually bought the deluxe edition of it, like deluxe collector's edition. And he's like, yeah, I own that. I'm like, yep, bet you listened to it once, didn't you? He goes, twice. Like, yeah, because we came up with a theory that in Megadeth, when they get a new lineup, the first album out of that new lineup is fucking killer. And then it just slowly dwindles as it goes along.
It might be pretty sound.
Yeah, because, like, when you think about it, like, let's go with Rest in Peace, first one or that new one. Great. Countdown Extinction. I thought that was really good, but not as good. Euthanasia, not as good. Cryptic Writings, not as good. Risk. And then we got a new one with World Needs a Hero, which was better. And then we got a new lineup with, what album was that? Oh, shit. One of Black Metal Universe. Shit. What was that one called? Not the Scorpion. Just System Has Failed. There we go. Yeah, that one was better. It's like it slowly got better until we hit Endgame, and then it went back down because we got a new lineup at Endgame, and then it went down. I tell you, there's ebbs and flows. I'm wondering if having a new guitarist like ignites ideas in old Mega Dave.
Well, let me first say that I made a small error before. I said Super Collider came out in 2012. It was actually 2013, which is when we also did the review. I said at the top of the show before you came on, I said I absolutely hated Super Collider. I think you defended it on some level, but I think we both agreed it was not a great effort by Megadeth.
No, I don't recall defending it much at all because I was so mad that almost the same group that gave me Endgame gave me this.
I think you tried to convince me it was better than it was. I was like, I wasn't as down on Super Collider as I was on Black Sabbath. I at least listened to the whole thing. But
well, that's because you don't like Black Sabbath. There's a difference between I don't like it and it's not good.
Dystopia, however, is a big return to form. I'm anxious to get into this. I listened to it while I was working. I listened to it on YouTube, and then a little bit on Spotify in the car. And I'm really into this album, especially this first track. So let me go over some of the facts here. Dystopia just came out January 22nd, so we are actually doing a timely review. We've got a new lineup here, from what I understand. We've got, the album produced by Dave Mustaine and Chris Rakestraw. The first since the band 2004, The System Has Failed not to feature longtime drummer Sean Drover, and also the first not to feature guitarist Chris Broderick since 2007's United Abomination. These roles have been filled by Lamb of God drummer Chris Adler, and Angra guitarist, and Angra is quite good, Angra guitarist Kiko Loureiro, respectively. So let's jump right into this. The threat is real, ladies and gentlemen. Easy on the solo there, Shred and Sign. The song's over already.
And you say that first track of the album. Plenty more shredding to go.
Well, there is a lot of shredding on this album. That's one of the things that makes it great. But I want to open up the topic of conversation to the most obvious thing about this album, and I'll ask you both in kind what your thoughts on it are. Very heavy political, very present in what's going on in the world. A lot of negative reviews because people don't agree with his politics.
No.
One comment I saw on an article, on a review, was Dave's gone all neoconservative and born-again Christian. So, well,
has gone. That implies that he wasn't already.
So, apparently it's more obvious on this album than it was in albums in the past, according to some. But here's where I want to get your guys' opinion. Obviously, I would say politics has informed a lot of Megadeth's music over the years. I would say it informed a lot of thrash metal's music over the years. There was always a political element to it. People seem to be very split on this album, where they like the sound, they don't like the lyrical content. Robert and then Jesse, I want to get your thoughts on that.
I wonder who the threat is. Yeah, it was kind of on the nose. A lot of this album lyrically is on the nose, and like in the back of my head, I'm just like, yeah, good old neocon Mustaine. But at the same time, I don't really care because I've been well aware. Like Endgame's one of my favorite albums. It doesn't matter that the song Endgame is fucking built around Alex Jones's crazy ass stupid conspiracy theories. It's still a fucking killer song. And I feel like past a certain point, this isn't, I don't know, I feel like maybe with hip-hop music, like, the personality of the person almost outweighs the content of their music. I don't feel like this is the case, because did he necessarily say what the threat was? No, we know what the threat is. This isn't Orphan Land. I can tell you that this was not in here for flavor. But, but I feel like it doesn't detract enough, really, because let's say you're listening to this in Canada and you don't have a fucking clue what's going on in some of the U.S. politics. I don't know. How informed are Canadians? Like, you'll still think this is a killer album. You won't really think of anything in the politics. 10 years down the line, we're probably not going to remember some of this at least. So I feel like it's not really anything that's all that surprising considering Dave Mustaine as a person, and I'm willing to overlook it because I'm a pretty big fan of the band, and I just feel like I guess that's kind of knocking something for what it is. You're like, oh no, Dave Mustaine wrote a political song.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this, 1987?
Exactly.
Because there were political songs in 1987 too, so nobody bitched. So people need to fuck off. Unless it's Ted Nugent, because then Ted Nugent can really shut up.
And now for a rebuttal from Robert Cooper. People need to fuck off. Well said, Robert.
Thank you.
Well, I can't echo Robert's sentiments much more other than if you are expecting a laid-back, non-political song from Megadeth, you can just go ahead and get the fuck out. There is no sense in picking up a Megadeth album and expecting it to be non-political in some way. Neo-conservative, whatever. I think some of the stuff that I enjoy the most that comes out of Megadeth's catalog is a lot about how, to coin the title of the album, the dystopia that we live in. The fact that, we may be blind to what the government is. We got government conspiracies going on. As to whether all that stuff's going on, I don't know. But I enjoy the story that Dave and the rest of the band are trying to tell. And that's Megadeth to me. I mean, that is why I like these guys. It's just some of the stuff that I enjoy.
So back in 1994, an album was put out called Punk and Drublick by California punk band No Effect. And they're very liberal. Fat Mike has gone over years being sort of a political lightning rod in the music world for being very liberal. I mean, he'd be right up there with Al Jorgensen. Another example of somebody who, where I'm going with this. I really like Ministry, and I like most of their albums. Very left-wing, very anti-Bush. I mean, if nothing else, very anti-Bush. He wrote a trilogy of records about the man.
That's almost an obsessively admirable level of dedication there. To a certain point, maybe you kind of respect the man.
Drublick by No Effects. It's probably one of my favorite punk albums of all time. And again, it sounds like fat. What do you call it? Perfect Government, which the chorus is "How did the cat get so fat?" And you know what they're talking about with that. There's other songs on here where they clearly have a point of view. And just because I've over the years disagreed with their point of view, I'll still go back and listen to this album. And I think that's kind of how I feel about Dystopia. Is I think you can appreciate the music, and I think you can appreciate what he's trying to say without necessarily having to agree with it. I think far too often, and I will play another song after this, we get into this thing where, someone's saying something I don't agree with, and then we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy to just completely shut out somebody else's point of view. We can come back to that if you guys want in just a moment. Let's hear the title track. This is Dystopia. Never mind. I was doing that joke.
We've already shredded it.
That one. So yeah, the title track is really good. It keeps in the same vein as what they started with. The Threat Is Real. I would say most of the album is like that. They definitely picked up the pace with this one, sort of returned to form in terms of traditional thrash metal. I really like it.
Have you guys had a chance to watch those videos? I know I just posted them on Facebook. Have you guys had a chance to see The Threat Is Real and Dystopia, the videos they released?
I have not watched any of the videos. Why don't you talk about them?
Okay, well, they're basically a story of Rattlehead Vic, and it's kind of animated. And The Threat Is Real is the first part, and Dystopia is the second part of the story. And it talks about it pretty much, Vic is in the future, and it focuses on his battle against this crazy, I don't know. There's obviously some type of a conflict. You get the idea that this guy is kind of running the world, and Vic is out to to try and stop it. Well, the guy kills Vic's girlfriend, which is pretty interesting. You think Vic would have a girlfriend. By the way, our listeners, if they don't know who Vic is the Megadeth mascot, the one you see on I think he's on every cover, isn't he? Of every album cover?
Yep.
Well,
except for Cryptic Writings, I think.
Okay. And was he on Super Collider either? I don't think he was on that one either, the front of that one either.
No, let's think. He was in the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. Was he on Countdown? I don't think he was.
No, it was just that old guy.
He wasn't on Euthanasia. Wasn't on Cryptic Writings. He wasn't on Risk originally, but the reversioning of it with the mousetrap on it, his face is on the mousetrap.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's who Vic is. Vic is the mascot. He's like a skeletal guy with his mouth is not sewn shut, but more wired shut. Scary looking dude, but good couple videos. And it tells a story across the two videos, because at the end of the first one, when I watched The Threat Is Real, I was like, wait a second, this has got to we got to have another part of the story. And sure enough, the video for Dystopia, I think, was released last week. So if you guys get a chance, check it out. Our listeners out there might enjoy that.
Yeah, Vic Rattlehead's really interesting because actually he's got his mouth kind of, not as you said, kind of, but he was almost sewed shut to a degree. But he's also got his ears.
It's like a cage or a gate. Mm-hmm.
Ears are capped off, and he's got a blinder on, which is a little subtle there for Megadeth. But this song, gotta love him. But yeah, this song here, it's a good song. The only problem I have is just a slight repetition, but it's one of those that's addictively repetitious. It's not one of those that's obnoxious and gets boring. I almost feel like it leaves you on your seat waiting to where it's going to end. It's like Lord of the Rings. Keep waiting for it to end, even though it hasn't ended yet, but you're really excited to see where it's going to end. I mean,
Dystopia,
it's a really good song. Yeah. And I will say one thing, I think, and maybe it's improved or maybe just my disposition has improved, but I found that one of the problems I was having originally when I was listening to the original cuts of this was I felt like Dave almost sounded bored in the vocal mix, and maybe it's just the fact I'm listening to it now as a whole, I don't feel like that's the case, but when I listened to it at first, I was like, he sounds bored.
That's never good for a thrash album.
Might just be because he's old and his voice can't do much.
Oh, man, he is getting old, dude. I mean, he's getting up there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's like 10 feet in the grave or something.
In the interest of time, let's go to the first single from this album. It was released October 1st, 2015. This is Fatal Illusion. try to play closer to the chorus, but I got to stop it there for legal reasons. One of the things I was reading about with this album, and you guys can weigh in on this, is that what separates this from the most recent previous albums was I like to build up suspense.
It's silence. That's the big difference, is silence. I'll tell you why, because I'm not playing Super Collider.
Oh, wow, I totally lost my train of thought. So, Fatal Illusion, what do you guys think?
Well, one thing that I noticed was Jesse talking about how if I'm not mistaken, you were saying it's a good album, but I could hear a few recycled things. The one thing that I noticed that was recycled in this was not necessarily recycled, but it sounded very much so like the opening verse was very much like the chorus of America Stan off of United Abominations.
Oh, it's a good song.
It is. It just kind of had that same cadence to it. Now, every time I listen to it, that's all I can think of. Kind of like how Mark pointed out how all the Black Sabbath songs sounded like other Black Sabbath songs, so I can't listen to Loner without going, oh, yeah!
Oh, man. Fatal Illusion had some great guitar in it. There is some stuff in here where, I mean, I don't know. I'll go ahead and admit this right now. I play air guitar every once in a while, okay?
I play air guitar at work.
There you go. And
I was air guitaring this song.
This album, I mean, there was a point when I went upstairs over the week, and I put the old phone in the stereo upstairs, was cleaning up the kitchen. Kira walks in, and I mean, I couldn't help myself. I was headbanging and I was playing the air guitar, and of course that garnered some crazy looks from my 10-year-old daughter. That's the kind of album that this is. Fatal Illusion is there is some serious shredding going on in between this, and it's signature Megadeth, in my opinion. I think Fatal Illusion is one of my favorite songs, probably top 3 off this album. So I really liked it. I like the message too. I mean, the message he's getting across, it sounds like just what he's trying to say is that, you know, no matter what we do, I mean, it sounds like they're talking about killing a prisoner, but no matter what we do, it seems like however hard we try to stomp out evil, it's just not going to happen. And you mentioned we didn't get to the chorus, but he talks about how evil never dies throughout the song. Cool premise for a song. Definitely Megadeth all the way. Loved it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. They could have dealt with that first part of the song, where they were just making noise. But once they actually got into the thing, I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was a good first choice as a single. It certainly sets the tone for the album. There was a point that I was going to make about this, and I'm a little distracted. There's some stuff going on right now, so I completely lost the point.
Is Jonas not wanting to go to bed?
He has an earache. We just realized.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad stuff.
Yeah, so he's having a rough time. Mom's taking care of him right now because I am a terrible dad and doing a podcast instead.
You tell that woman, you take care of that kid. I got a podcast.
Yeah.
I never do that to my wife, just by the way.
I would never try to do that too if I had a wife, because like I would deserve to be like punching in the nutsack.
I did try. Well, wait a minute now. I did try to console the kid, and I realized that that I think Jesse can speak to this. There are times where a child just wants his mother, and there's nothing Dad can do. Dad can do the same thing that Mom can do. The child will just prefer a particular parent. Many times the mom, sometimes the dad. There's definitely I want my daddy times, but more often than not, the mother is seen as the nurturer, and when the child wants to be nurtured because they do not feel well, that's who they will gravitate to, and it really doesn't matter what the dad does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't say anything. I have blown off plenty of people for podcasting in my life.
Well, learn from us, Coop. Don't do it to your significant other. Trust me, you'll pay later.
Oh, I know, because as I was explaining to a female friend of mine, I remember everything everybody else says. I just never remember what I say. So when it comes to you know what you did, I'm fucked, because I don't remember anything that I did. Now, I can tell you
just nod and go with it, man.
I can tell you what you said 3 weeks ago, but not me. I talk too much for that.
Yeah, just nod and apologize. Well, I feel like this next song really sets the tone for what we were just talking about. This is called Death from Within. Recently about how, and I want to say it was an older article that was a memory from a year past that I just reposted, or they rewrote the same article again and I reposted it, but it was something along the lines of the death of the music industry. Yeah, this was actually a recent article, because the premise of it was touring alone is not going to save the music industry. And, with streaming services like Spotify, it's a topic that we've gone over on the show 1,000,001 times. But I bring it up because I found this one article here that said Dystopia specifically, this is projected to, so this is from blabbermouth.net, Megadeth Dystopia is projected to sell between 43,000 and 48,000 its first week. Now, compared to Super Collider, it only sold 29,000 copies in the U.S. the first week of its release, which landed at number 6 on the Billboard 200. 13, it was 42,000 units back in 2011. So, the buying music is not dead. I think people are still out there buying CDs. I know people. I know Cooper hasn't fully submitted to the streaming of music.
No.
I
have more CDs than I know what to do with.
I think I think iTunes, and I'm curious to see if that counts. If you buy the album off of iTunes. Is that being counted in this? And I assume it is, because it says, for those interested, 10 tracks sold equal one album sale. Since $1.29, the cost for an individual track multiplied by 10 gives you $12.99. Common price for an album, and 1,500 streams is equivalent to one album sale. So they are counting that as well. But I thought it was interesting that Megadeth, all these years later, is still selling albums. People are still buying the physical album for these bands, and bands that have been around forever still have a following. Still have a huge enough following that Megadeth's actually going on a North American tour with and Suicidal Tendencies, and Children of Bodom.
Ooh.
So I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well,
I feel like
go ahead, Coop.
I feel like music sales as a whole have gone down. I feel like the reason that there are some bands that do really well is because it's just concentrated. Now it's no longer that everybody does well. It's just specific people do well. Like, for example, the new Adele album. Holy shit, that's like one of the best selling of all time now, right? I think so.
Sure. I wouldn't know.
Something like that. But yeah, it's blowing everything out of the water, it seems like. And like, yeah, new Megadeth does great. I think probably Black Sabbath did amazing. Probably when we get a new Metallica album, it'll do great. Like, that's the thing. I feel like it's certain acts still get that sort of nostalgia going for them. They get new fan bases that kind of roll over from the old fan base. I think the music industry now, in terms of physical media, has become more concentrated. So it's not as spread out anymore. So those small bands, no, they're not going to sell shit in terms of CDs and vinyl, anything like that. It's a very niche market for some of those bands. But when you get to your Megadeths, your Slayers of the world, I mean, they're still going to do pretty well because they have a pretty dedicated fan base. Not to mention, I think their fan base kind of skews kind of older. They're not the typical the typical teenage audience, so they're still going to buy the CD. Like me, I kind of think I have more of a older mindset with some of this stuff. Like I much prefer having the physical media. That's just me.
Yeah,
I haven't moved enough. That's what it is.
What Coop said, I agree, because we found out, I think it was earlier last year, when Spotify supposedly had run that. They ran some kind of a survey or did something looking at their stats and found that metal listeners are of the most loyal listeners out there of any genre, and when you have just like Coop says, the people that grew up with Megadeth may be more inclined to buy a CD because they have no idea how to operate the downloads. So I would say that it's probably that would probably make sense to me as to why they continue to sell well. It's got to be. Let me just ask a quick question. You guys might have asked this before. Coop, I know you buy CDs all the time, but legit, Mark Radulich, when was the last time you bought a CD?
Oh, goodness gracious. Probably the last physical CD that I bought, maybe something for my kids. If you're asking for myself.
Yeah, for yourself.
I would probably say it's got to be one of the last Clutch albums. Maybe Strange Cousins from the West might have been the last one.
Okay. Pitchfork and Lost Needles. That was that Clutch album that came out. I bought it from Walmart in probably 2000. Well, it was shortly after the album was released, and that was the last time I even bought a physical CD.
Ask me.
Coop?
Oh, the last CD I bought was actually today in the mail from Earache Records' Amazon site. I got the first 3 Woods of Ypres album and the shirt for the Woods 5 album cover. So,
wow.
Yeah, so last time I bought a CD was last week. I actually would have bought some today.
Well, it's funny to mention that. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I might have bought a physical CD even after that, just because I know that I did those T-shirt deals that like Earache or some of the other metal labels do, where like if you buy the special edition album, they'll send you, they'll also send you like a matching T-shirt. And I know I have one for sure for 3 Inches of Blood. Here, wait till I do. So it's entirely possible I bought, and that definitely came after one of the Clutch albums. So I definitely bought Here, Wait Till I Do. I know up until maybe the last 2 albums, every Clutch album that came out I bought a physical copy of.
Mm-hmm.
But I've definitely had to stop myself because there's been times where I'm like, oh, that's an awesome looking shirt. I'm going to buy the CD. And I'm like, no, I just don't want to. I don't want to have this CD in my house. Throwing myself before. Let's take a break and let's hear another. Hang on, let's hear another song and then we'll come back to this. This is track 5. This is Bullet to the Brain. Talking about the relevancy, really, of this album, this band. They're going on a huge tour. They're bringing Children of Bodom out with them, Havoc, I think Suicidal Tendencies. They're going all over. Let me ask you guys, we talked about the fact that their fan base, who are my age, basically, my age and maybe a little bit older, I'm 40. Just about. So figure between 40 and 50, I would say, would be the contemporaries of Megadeth.
Wow, isn't that insane? Can you believe you just said that?
Nope, I don't want to talk about it.
Over the hill.
So, and maybe some of us are savvy enough to use Spotify or some other, digital streaming service. Maybe a lot of people aren't. I was actually thinking, when you guys were talking, I was thinking about my father-in-law who's in his 50s. And now here's a guy who, he doesn't really listen to metal, but like if he wants to, if he wants to get like the new Trans-Siberian Orchestra for Christmas, he'll go to the store and buy it. Like, if he wants a new Steely Dan, he'll go to the store and buy it. And it's like, you've got like iPads and iPods and, all these things in the house, plus you have all these hookups where you can listen to streaming music. Why don't you just buy the album digitally? He's like, I can't. I have to physically have the album. And some people are like that. They're, whether it's an age thing or a tactile thing, they don't feel like they have it unless it's physically in their hand. But switching tracks for a second, this is what do we say? This is their 15th studio album. Megadeth came out in the early 80s after the split from when Dave Mustaine got unceremoniously dumped from Metallica.
He got the boot.
He did. What do you guys think is the has made Megadeth last for as long as it has? I know they've taken breaks over the years. Dave Mustaine, I think, went like therapy or whatever. But they keep coming back, and people keep buying their albums, even after trip ups like Super Collider. I just, I want to get your opinion. What do you think makes people come back and, and want to give Dystopia a chance?
Well, I think start with looking at is longevity. I mean, I feel like they have a really good track record, especially with their early stuff. I kind of feel like it's almost like Metallica in that way, that people will never remember the original albums. So, sometimes they'll just come back to albums like these and be like, oh, really? Okay. I told like 2 coworkers, yeah, man, new Megadeth album. Oh, they're still around? Yeah, dude. But sometimes it's people just finding that the band's still around and get into them, and they're like, oh, this is still pretty good. And I feel like they also make up for those shitty albums that they have. Like, we get Super Collider, and then right after we get Dystopia. We get Risk, and, well, The World Needs a Hero wasn't great, but The System Has Failed made up for those 2, I feel like. It's like they always seem to rebound with something pretty good. And with Dystopia here, I definitely think the people that they brought in, Chris Adler and Kiko guy from Brazil, because I don't remember his last name. But he's from Brazil, because Angler's awesome. I feel like they got a lot of goodwill bringing in people like that. And then when I almost think when the first tracks hit the internet, that's when people decide. Like, that's why Super Colliders did 26 and this is doing 48. Because the initial tracks are so much better. Like, when I first heard Super Collider, the song, I was like, oh, no. And then I heard Kingmaker, and I was like, okay, that was a good song. I'm really worried about Super Collider. And then the album ended up being like that song. So I kind of feel like it's I think they've earned enough reputation to where their older fans will either support them or come back to them, and the younger fans will kind of, I feel like they'll give them a second chance if they feel like there's something worth coming back to, and that's what this album definitely is. Like, looking at Metal Archives, this thing has like an 89 overall out of 5 reviews. Only one of them's below 80, so that's pretty impressive.
It's good music. That's really probably the easiest answer. You got these guys put out some quality stuff. If you enjoy the sound of a band and they put something new out, you're going to go check it out, and if you like it, you're going to buy it. I've been learning more and more about, or I should say, I've been listening to a lot more newer bands lately, and now, to bring up Spotify again, you're able to follow an artist on Spotify, and usually if an album drops, you're aware of when it drops immediately, and you can go check it out as soon as you can. Spotify gives you that opportunity to listen to that album, and if you're somebody that's going to purchase an album, you're probably going to want to give it a shot first just to see what it is. But with Megadeth, I mean, they've got a proven track record of, I should say, putting out some great albums. And why wouldn't you? I mean, if it sounds great, and you've enjoyed them before, you're going to stay with them, and you're going to buy the new album that you like the way it hears. If you like the way it hears, like the way it sounds. It's 11:23, folks. I'm sure I'm going to screw up the rest in the next hours at another time at some point, just like I am right now. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I like the idea of goodwill. They built up goodwill with their fans, and I think as people get older, if you're not like a huge music person, but you like what you like, you're gonna buy what you know, and and if you remember, like, oh, I remember Megadeth, before I got married and had kids, I remember Megadeth.
You used to have them on tape.
You see on Facebook, whatever, they're putting out a new album. Yeah, like your interest level might go up. I'm just curious, what do you think the appeal is to like Rob's generation or even younger? Because Megadeth, could have that stigma of, oh, that's old people's music. There's you have so many. I mean, you could be listening to I Wrestled the Bear once.
If somebody looked at me and told me Megadeth is old people's music, there would be it'd be really hard for me not to hit them.
See, I would laugh at them.
Before you guys weigh in on this, I'm going to answer my own question, and I wanted to get your opinion. You know, I'm somebody who, at least I feel like I understand where we are with certain industries. I usually save this sort of conversation for movies, but I think it matters in music too. There's more dependence on big acts now for major corporations, whether it be studios or record companies. I think there's more of a reliance on mass appeal acts than there ever has been, because and I'll just talk about movies for a second. You know, why is almost every movie that that's coming out this year a remake, a sequel, or or based on some sort of prior intellectual property like a comic book or an old television show or whatever, because it's hard enough to get people to leave their house now to do anything. So you have to create something that people are familiar with and will be interested in, willing to part with their money and willing to leave their house. Especially when you wait a couple of months and you can order it through the remote control in your hand on your own big screen HD television. So I think the same thing applies with music. I think you look at Megadeth's. I'll go back to Megadeth's World Tour. If you're a promoter, if you're somebody who owns the venue, you're going to be much more likely to welcome Megadeth, who has worldwide appeal and has 20, 30 years worth of a fan base, because people are going to come out and see them, versus maybe a newer act that doesn't have quite the appeal. I mean, for God's sakes, Heart and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts are touring. I think this weekend is fucking Def Leppard, Styx, and Tesla. And they're not playing the State Fair, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing like basketball stadiums. They're playing the Amway, which is where the WWE was for the Royal Rumble, and a couple of weeks back, the UFC was for a UFC on Fox event. So I think one of the things that keeps Megadeth relevant is the fact that they do have, such a wide audience, and they attract people, when they go on tour, when they put out an album. You can count on Megadeth. You can count on Metallica. You can count on Slayer. You may not necessarily be able to count on, who knows, smaller, some of these newer, smaller bands that don't quite have the following. You see what I'm saying?
Fuck Holocaust.
Yeah. Toxic Holocaust would be one. Tell you what, why don't you give you guys a moment to think about that, and we'll play another track here. This is Post-American World. Back to that. That's one of the songs I really liked on here was Post-American World. Oh, it was depressing, but I like that. I like the cut of its jib. So we talk about that, or my idea of depending on big, well-known acts to sort of carry you through and being less likely to take chances on some smaller acts.
I felt like the song was pretty decent. It wasn't one that necessarily blew me away, but it's one that I've listened to a few times and still remember. So hey, it's I feel like it made an impact, and I guess the way you can look at it lyrically is it's talking about the almost like the target on America's back. Everybody wants to give it America. But going back to my generation, since we did bring up the question of why does my generation like Megadeth and did not ask the person in the room who was in that generation, even though I don't really act like a lot of my generation. That's why I'm doing this podcast.
Let's go ahead and listen to another song. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. You. But, I think what really helps them stick around, I think that ties into what we were talking about, is that it's a big name. And oftentimes, a lot of that initial curiosity on a genre of music, you kind of find yourself clinging to some of the older acts, but ones that still are releasing music. Because, sometimes, because some people are all about them some Leonard Skinner, and Leonard Skinner hasn't really released Leonard Skinner albums in a while. But, for example. But I feel like people really get attached to bands like this. Like, that's how I got into them, was I heard Peace Sells a few times. I had an 11th grade teacher that was really into Megadeth and got me started, and it just kind of blossomed from there. And I feel like that's where that comes from for my generation, because just kind of harkening back to what we were talking about was kind of like I'd mentioned, the music industry itself really makes its record sales on big names, and that's kind of how it's gotten for a lot of things. I think our society as a whole has gotten to where it can pick and choose what it wants to watch at all times. You can, do I like what's at the movie theaters? No. Fuck it, let's watch Netflix. I can watch what I want. And there's a point to where you no longer have to really choose what's your entertainment for the day or the night or the weekend, what have you. So they really kind of, I guess, a lot of people just go by a lot of name recognition, and that's what gets them to the theaters, where like either a good word of mouth or an initial push based off of kind of some pre-existing notion, like, oh, it's a Johnny Depp movie, I'm going to love it, said no person that's said nobody, really. God, I'm so tired of Johnny Depp. Poor guy. He's really talented. But yeah, I feel like that's really what it's going off of. It's just we have so many choices. So the things that make money now are just these big acts that people feel like they can't miss. Because I'll admit it, I don't really go out of my way to see a lot of more local acts that are around here, but let's say, like, for example, when I went and saw Nightwish and Sabaton, I was like, oh, shit, I can't miss this. There's a lot of that kind of can't-miss vibe to it. That's why you have a lot of these really big tours that almost like a mega tour of sorts. Maybe they'll drag around one or two smaller bands, but it's going to pack the house, and that's kind of the point we're at. I mean, some tours are almost like the Avengers nowadays. It's like, yeah, remember when you got Megadeth and, like, two smaller bands? Now you get Megadeth, a band lower than Megadeth, maybe. Like Children of Bodom are not as popular. And then I can't remember the third band. But yeah, like it's no longer big band with a bunch of little guys. It's like a slowly descending stairs of popularity.
Well, one of the things the article was talking about, it said that touring alone won't save you, was how you're going to see the rise of more, like, festivals, more mega shows.
Yeah, and we are.
There was a show that was put together, like, just some local people put together a big metal festival here in Tampa. I wasn't able to get there, but I was looking at it. It was like Corrosion of Conformity, Madball, and, all these. Yeah, it was a wild set. If I can find it again, I'll pull it up. But it was one where I almost went, because of, it's kind of like Chinese food. There was just so much value for your dollar. How Jewish am I? But
I mean, yeah. And then you look at like over here, like Carolina Rebellion. I usually turn my nose up at it because it's a bunch of fucking bros and their bro music. But I mean, this year, Megadeth, Anthrax, Ghost, Lamb of God. Hell, Friday's like a classic rock show practically, and then Sunday we get like Rob Zombie and baby metal. So it's like, oh, you like this? Here, have it. You like this? Oh, have some of that too. It's like a fucking Chinese buffet.
Yeah. So check this out. This was the Florida Metal Fest, right? Obituary, Corrosion of Conformity, Deicide, Trouble, Malevolent Creation, Madball, yo, Atheist, Broken Hope, and Generic Christ. Now,
oh God, why couldn't I have went there?
Now, I mean, when you think about it, Corrosion of Conformity maybe would have gone out with like 2 of these bands, but you got 9 for a decent price. When was this? Oh, this weekend, January 30th.
Yeah, I mean, you get really interesting things like that. Like, I've noticed a lot of these death metal bands, usually it's like 2 big ones tour together now. Like, Amon and Martha are coming to Charlotte, and who do they have with them? Entombed. So it's like, holy shit, well, Entombed AD. But, you know, now you're getting that big metal band in Amon and Martha, but you're getting one of the more underground ones that are really well-respected and Entombed. I noticed that with that lineup, too. A lot of those were those Florida death metal bands. And I really feel like those bands, really work better when they kind of hunt in packs. You know, when they come out 3, 4 strong with 2 big headliners instead of just one, like when Deicide came here and Entombed were supposed to come.
Well, you definitely have more of an opportunity, I think, as a band to get yourself noticed when you play a festival or a showcase. You know, I still to this day remember going to see Clutch on a showcase that was headlined by Biohazard. It was like Biohazard, Marauder, Clutch, and then like a bunch of New York or tri-state area hardcore bands. Jesse, any thoughts on what we're talking about?
Not really. No, I mean, it's interesting to see how the concert scene is evolving, like you're talking about, because just like you said, you're seeing more festivals. Same thing around here, and that's what I usually see on Facebook when most people are posting the concerts that they're getting ready to go to or going to.
Right.
And I think it should be, it would be awesome to be a small band. And in order to gain notoriety, you're going to be on the same, the same card as some of these, these unbelievable bands that are out there. We have up here in Columbus, we've got it's a very popular, now I can't remember what it's called. So popular, I forgot what it's called.
When you said it was shit.
It's Columbus. It's up here in Columbus, Ohio. It's I want to call it Rock something. Rock on the Range. And,
yeah, probably.
Okay, there we go. Rock on the Range. Now I'll go ahead and list you. I'll list you guys. Rock on the Range.
It's actually been on television.
Yeah.
Rock on the Red Grange.
Here's the lineup for this year. They goes over 3 days. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, Shinedown, Five Finger Death Punch, A Day to Remember, Bring Me the Horizon, Megadeth, At the Drive-In, Lamb of God, 6 a.m., Pennywise, Hell Yeah, Ghost, Wolf Mother, Death from Above, 1979, Bullet for My Valentine, Steel Panther, Machine Gun Kelly, Clutch, Pop Evil. I mean, this is an amazing round of bands, and this is their 10th anniversary. But, every year, that is what I hear people around my area going to. Well, I'm heading Rock on the Range. I have not had a chance to get up there just because it's huge. I mean, I don't know how I could enjoy myself because it's just too massive, and I've already got issues with standing close enough to somebody 3 feet away. So, interesting change just to see how things are going.
There's a website I'm looking at, allmetalfest.com, and it lists like literally all the metal festivals in 2016. There's one that's here in Florida, up in like the Jacksonville area. I almost went last year because I really wanted to see a particular band, and that was the only show they were playing in the area. I practically begged my wife, like, we gotta go, and we ended up not being able to go for it. I think we were going to be elsewhere, or there was some other than she's Big Meanie. There was some other reason why we couldn't go.
The Wrestler?
What was that?
That's the Blue. Oh, I said the Wrestler, and then I went, no, that's the Blue Meanie. Your wife is the Blue Meanie.
Jacksonville. Hang on. Jacksonville Metal Festival. 2016. Rockville, that's it. Welcome to Rockville. This year's Welcome to Rockville has, it's Saturday, Disturbed, Shinedown, Three Doors Down, Bring Me the Horizon, 6 a.m., Collective Soul, Pennywise, Pop Evil, both for my Valentine, Hell Yeah, Essing Alexandra, Trivium, Filter, Candlebox, Escape the Fate, Crown the Empire, Enter Shikari, Miss May I, Wilson, Red Sun Rising, Lacey Storm, Monster Truck, and Cane Hill. And here's Sunday show. Rob Zombie, ZZ Top, Five Finger Death Punch. Because when I think ZZ Top, I think Five Finger Death Punch.
How.
I don't imagine the guy listening to that. He's just like,
just got paid today. A Day to Remember, Megadeth, Lamb of God. People listening to this podcast, what does this have to fuck to do with anything now? Megadeth, Lamb of God.
This is almost the same fucking lineup as this is the same lineup as Carolina Rebellion almost.
Megadeth, Lamb of God, Cypress Hill, Anthrax, Ghost, Seven Dust, Hey Jesse, Clutch, Yellow Wolf, P.O.D., We Came as Romans, Memphis Mayfire, Parkway Drive, Issues, Sick Puppies, Beartooth, Texas Hippie Coalition. Is that Phil Anselmo's new thing? I don't know.
No, that's no. His is Superjoint Ritual, I think. Isn't it?
Well, it's not new.
Hold on.
From Ashes to New, Glorious Sons, and Wild Throne. So, I mean, however much these tickets are, that's for both shows, that's a lot. That's pretty high value right there. Assuming the tickets aren't $1 million, that's pretty insane.
That's almost the same as a Carolina Rebellion. Yeah, there's half of those bands are on Carolina Rebellion. Awesome.
So I mean, as a you can buy this ticket and you can get your. It's fun to experience bands live. We all know that. We love going to concerts and watching these, our favorite bands perform. But it's kind of a neat experience when you go to a festival such as this, and you see a band that you probably never heard before, or maybe have just heard a little bit about, and you watch them up on stage, and you're like, these guys are killing it. When I went and saw Fozzy, now that wasn't anything like this, but when I went and saw Fozzy, they had a band that opened up for them by the name of 3 Pill Morning. Never heard of them. These guys weren't, it wasn't heavy metal or anything like that, but it was good. It was some good rock and roll, and it was enough to make me watch them. I enjoyed watching them, and I immediately went and found them on Spotify the next day. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, and in festivals like this, you get a swath of great musical talent that's out there, and you kind of get to pick and choose what that next what that next band will be. And maybe that's the advantage of touring with these big names. You don't want to tour by yourself because you're going to be able, more people are going to be able to see you at something like this. There's no reason why you wouldn't buy a ticket to go watch something like that. So I think it definitely supports the argument.
Let's go ahead and listen to another track. We're a little behind schedule now, but it was a good conversation to have. This is Poisonous Shadows. Cooper's used to me, when they turn down the tempo and slow things down a bit, I tend to poo-poo the music. I actually really like that song. I think it's got a very ominous tone to it.
Not to mention, they were shredding. Like they were pumping iron to hate beat. That is how shredded this music is. That was just an awesome song.
For it to be and this is, I think, the slowest song on the album, which is actually damn cool in my opinion. When I'm kind of like Mark, if you slow if it's a slower song, like when Clutch had that slow one on their most recent album, I was like, and I know you guys I know at least Mark is a fan of the slower songs of Clutch, but I can't dig them. And this particular song right here, it is kind of a haunting type of a song, especially at the end when he's talking about, he's basically just talking about, it sounds like either a ghost or maybe he had a dream or a nightmare of something. I was trying to figure out who he was talking about. And Coop, I don't know if you had a chance to do lyrical analysis on this particular song and had an idea as to what in the world he's talking about in here, but it's still, I've listened to this album probably close to 10 plus times, and this particular song I still can't figure out. But regardless, it's kind of a scary one.
Yeah, I haven't been able to really look at the lyrics as much since most of the time I was listening to this album, I was sweeping and using a leaf blower and covering plants from the cold. Because, that's what I do while I listen to my Megadeth.
When I listen to my Megadeth, I garden.
That's right. I work in the garden section. I pick up mulch for people and then try to bring their heaters in with one hand and end up breaking both the handles on the box like an asshole.
Ah, nice.
Wait,
nice.
The way you said that, I totally thought, when I bite into a York peppermint patty.
Well, maybe. I'm trying to, damn it, I'm typing with one hand. I keep trying to look up the lyrics to this song. And I'm typing with one hand and keep hitting the wrong thing. You'd figure I'd get better at it throughout all the years.
It's pretty cryptic. I mean, in my opinion, it's not straightforward, and that's just it's not straightforward. But it gets that that kind of freaky vibe across about he's having like either these visions or it makes me almost feel like there's a ghost that shows up. But at the end, anyway. But again, yeah, there's some great guitar work going on here. It's a good song for as slow as it is, and really, honestly, in my opinion, it's not that slow at all.
No, I don't think that's okay. Looking at the lyrics for all of 15 seconds, I don't know. It kind of seems like perhaps these Poison the Shadows are somebody's. I think somebody in his past, maybe. That's what I was thinking of. The speaker's past, of course. In that person's past, and talking about mocking you in your sleep and crawling towards those poisonous shadows. I'm wondering if those poisonous shadows are people that's no longer in the person's life that they don't need, but they still kind of want.
Ooh. Good analysis.
Thank you. I spent 15 seconds. Maybe if I spent 25.
Just tell me what the meaning of life is here in an hour.
The movie?
We're gonna skip this instrumental. Maybe I'll play it on the way out tonight. But for right now, I'm just gonna skip it, and we're gonna go to the track 9, which is "Lying in State."
What we are witnessing is the decline of Western civilization, crushing our potential and piling it on. How will history portray us? Attack the family, attack the faith and creed, attack the body, and the head will fall. A lasting legacy, a ruin brought in hate. The enemy of truth is lying there in state. Another day, another manufactured crisis, keeping the people distracted. There's no one playing by the rules anymore. How will history portray us? A broken backbone, with nothing left to lose, that hate the sight of all the ones that do. A lasting legacy, a ruin brought in hate. The enemy of truth is lying there in state. I need new agenda, birth from a secret mind, a failing of God's purpose, to complete sanitite. It's Soviet for the masses.
All right. I want to talk about that song specifically, and I want to address it this way. While doing some research on this album, one of the things I found as a criticism is that Dave Mustaine, not the strongest lyric writer. A little too obtuse, a little too on the nose at times. I wanted to get your guys' opinion about that, specifically with this song, because he has in that line, the decline of Western civilization. And it reminds me of me when I was a kid, and I was a terrible songwriter, just not being able to, just trying to shove in like thoughts and words and to a beat that doesn't match. And it just, like he so desperately wants to give a speech, but he's trying to write a song, and it's. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it doesn't. I don't know if it meshes as good as it could with maybe somebody who was a bit more imaginative with what they were trying to say. Rob?
Well, this song, all I could think of is False Flag. False Flag. That's what this song tells me. As for him trying to yell false flag, I always found his lyrics to at least be like, well, he tried. He is on the nose, but I mean, I feel like he's doing a lot better job than half of our, top 10 rap artists that we have. And some of those fuckers, they suck. Thank God. When we have Bo Dallas, we have Bo Dallas beating Flo Rida in a scripted rap battle on Raw.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. How do you think Dave Mustaine compares to lyrical wizard Fred Durst?
Really, I think what's lacking from Dave Mustaine's writing is the fact that Dave really he doesn't quite get into the human psyche like Fred Durst. Like really, I don't know how Dave feels about nookies and cookies and sticking things up your like that's really what's lacking there. Like I don't feel like we truly get into the human ball of anger quite as much as Fred Durst. I don't really get the feeling that I need to break stuff. It doesn't quite hit me quite there in the heart. I was really hard to do that with a straight face. But I'll give Dave, he's a bit on the nose, but I mean, it's kind of clever. Lying in state, we'll get it. It's like lying in wait, but instead, it's like the state's lying. Get it? False flag.
Well, yeah, lyrically, this is when I talked about recycling stuff. Okay, you guys may already know this. I don't know, but I'm gonna come right out and tell this. All right. First, in the first paragraph of the lyrics here, one of the things that he says is attack the family, attack their faith and dreams, attack the body, and the head will fail. Okay? I want to take you back in the Wayback Machine to United Abominations and a nice little song, one of my favorite songs, Washington is Next.
Yep.
All right? In that particular song, he states, attack one of the lyrics near the end of the song, I believe, or maybe the middle, attack the church dynamic, attack the family, keep the public undisciplined till nothing left is sacred. I was like, wait a second, this is exactly what he said before, and it's kind of crazy for someone like me to immediately know. Now, granted, I like Washington is Next. It's one of my favorite songs off of that album, but I immediately recognized it, and he's using it almost verbatim. I mean, he's saying attack the church. Go ahead. What did you say?
Anything else that sounded recycled? Perhaps the intro that all I can hear is that they've taken the president and they're coming for the White House. Remember Blackmail the Universe?
I can't say that I remember that one. I know that song, but it's been a while since I listened to it.
Well, at the beginning of it, it starts out with that. It had the exact same gallop. Like it changed after that, but it almost felt like the exact same start.
Let's give Dave a little bit of a slide, though. Okay, considering he is the one that was it Victory? Was that the song where he basically every lyric was a song title from his albums?
Yes.
So we have to give him a little bit of leeway here. If you want to talk about recycling something, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to take all my song titles and put them in a song.
I don't know. That's like the greatest tribute song to yourself.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. Trust me, that is my favorite song. One of my favorite songs of all time. I loved it. Matter of fact, when you guys did the retrospective,
that's not original in any way, perform. It's not original in any way, shape, or form. I've heard other
it doesn't matter. He put the song titles in a song. I mean, that's got to be. That's not easy. And he put music to it. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. All right. Well, okay. That's my argument for it. But yeah. I mean, on the nose, absolutely. But I'll tell you right now, this is my favorite song off the album. I love this song, especially there's a part I think near the end, or maybe I think it's near the end, where it's just the guitar going, and I mean it's nothing but straight up, and I'm just banging my head. Love it.
All right, let's move on to the next song here in the interest of time. The song is "The Emperor."
Come here. Closer.
Who do you think you are? Some kind of superstar. We'll see. Where do you think you are? That shit won't get you far with me. You're just so dashing. You marvel at the sound of your own voice as you crash into the ground. You look so perfect, but everybody knows they're petrified to say the emperor has no vote. So good.
I really like that song. Though I kept, though it reminded me of a Cracker song where it's like, "You look so perfect." I was like, "You are so beautiful. You should be guarded by monkeys."
I don't know that song.
I don't know that song, but all I can think of when you mention that is "Community Property" by Steel Panther.
By Steel Panther.
But because, that song started out just like, it's a love song. And then about 30 seconds in, he mentions that, well, my cock is community property.
Now, this particular song, did either of you guys have your headphones in when you first listened to it?
Yes.
No.
Because that scared the shit out of me at the beginning, where it's like, come closer, and I'm like, you could barely hear the old guy talking, and then all of a sudden it just jumps right into the song, like within a split second after he says that. Scared me to death. I mean, equivalent to a jump scare. Dave Mustaine got me on that one.
I think that old guy was Dave Mustaine.
I think you're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is kind of old anyways. I think my favorite random old guy talking in front of a song is, I think, was it Crown of Horns by Cryptopsy? But it's just like, I do that rather well, don't you think? And then it just goes into drum fill and screaming.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, shit. Cryptopsy's awesome.
I do want to say Conquer or Die, that instrumental that we didn't play. I just want to tell people that it's pretty good. If you guys get a chance,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a really great interlude.
I feel like they should have led the album with it. I mean, hey, let's think of how many Megadeth albums started with an instrumental.
That's true.
I think it's like two of them actually, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you.
So Far So Good So What was an instrumental.
Yeah.
And In Game was an instrumental.
That's right.
We need a third one. Damn it, Dave. You had your chance.
Mark, is the Emperor wearing pants tonight?
Who, me? No, God no.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Oh, I made sure to take my pants off before I came down here and sat down at the computer.
Well, there is no podcasting on the Radlisson Broadcasting Network with pants. It's like part of it's a mandate. We nailed that on the door like the 99 Theses.
I told my wife I'm going to take off my pants and jacket.
And proceeded to jacket.
That's right.
What? Oh, no.
All right.
Fred Durst, is that you?
So I may have a surprise for you guys in just a little bit.
No.
Song. No surprise. You saying no surprises, sir?
Oh, no, I do not want. I don't want any surprise with your pants and jackets.
No, that's not kind of surprise.
No.
All right, take it easy. Even though I know that your last time went.
Here it comes. This is finally your time. It's what you've been waiting for. All the blood, sweat, and tears getting ready for this one moment, for this one shot. All eyes are focused on you. Everyone is now watching, waiting. It seems the world has stopped turning. The clock is spinning, and you better not blow it. This is the deciding factor, your personal come-to-Jesus moment, where they separate winners and losers. Ask yourself, do I really want this bad enough? I've got to prove myself. I'll turn the night alight. I'll set this place on fire. I know tonight's the night.
Now, before we talk about that, I want to play for you something that I brought up before, but it has nothing really to do with anything. But I feel challenged, and now I'm going to accept that challenge. This is Guarded by Monkeys by Cracker.
Why?
Terry explained why. Guarded by Monkeys by Cracker. Aren't you glad I introduced that song to you?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I want to know how you found out about these guys.
Cracker?
Yeah.
Don't you know, hey, 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 it's like being low?
Oh, yes. Okay, now I recognize that. That's Cracker. All right.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oh, my God. Okay, first of all, just shut up. Shut up. Stop what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Let me explain something to you. Before you do another thing when this podcast ends, before you go to bed, before you just stop, get on Spotify and go listen to The Golden Age by Cracker. Your life will change.
The Golden Age.
Yeah.
So when Cracker's brother has a kid, is that when he became Uncle Cracker?
And then Coop became the joke cracker.
Yeah, I make dad jokes. So last dying wish. Hey, Jamie Johnson, this is how you write a inspiring pump up song here. You notice Dave Mustaine didn't start out with "Who's Got More Heart Than You"? No one.
No one.
Yeah, which I'll admit, even though that song is cheesier than Wisconsin, it's really fun. But this song here, I was like,
Who's
last
got
time
more heart
was,
than Cooper? No. Who's got more heart than Cooper? No one.
like when this first started, I was like, oh no, is this the guy from the announcer from the Bullhorn on the in-game song? Is this him giving motivational speeches? And I was like, no, it's just Dave. But I thought this was a really good song, and it's definitely something different than you will usually see from a Megadeth song. It's kind of just like, hey, you know what? It's your fucking day. You are going to fucking rock this. You worked hard. Everybody thinks it's easy. Well, fuck them. Relying on luck was their last dying wish. I'm like, good one, Dave. Good one.
All right, so this last one's a cover. It's Jesse's favorite song on the album. This is Foreign Policy.
Foreign Policy.
Don't exist in harmony. Survival is superiority. We don't need no hands across the sea. We've got foreign policy. Foreign policy. Foreign policy. The lights up.
Thank you.
Every foreign policy. I made sure every foreign policy got played.
Foreign policy. When that song started, I was wondering when Dean Ambrose was coming out.
Lunatic Friends.
You guys want to tell me who Fear is, because I didn't know this was a cover up until tonight. So I need some education.
They're an old punk hardcore band.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't know Fear. I know Primal Fear. That's Tim Ripper Owens' band.
I know
Fear
Fear Factory.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I always forget them because I call them Fat Factory.
All right, so Fear is a hardcore punk band from Los Angeles, California, formed in 1977.
That's definitely punk. I could tell it was punk.
The band is credited for helping to shape the sound and style of California hardcore punk. So there you go. And here are the members.
Oh,
Leaving.
How could I forget these guys?
Yeah. Durf. Wait, no, this is better. Hang on. You need to hear this.
All right.
Leaving, Flea, Durf Scratch, Philo Kramer, Spit Sticks, and more.
What was that? That say that one more time.
There's a lot of guys that came through in being in Fear.
Okay, so you said Flea was one of them?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's
about the only one that I recognized. You said Sticks?
Spit Sticks.
Oh, Spit Sticks, that guy. I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Sounds like
Chuck
a porn actor.
Chuck Biscuit's in the band.
Yeah, but see what I was laughing about was I couldn't believe I forgot about Lee Ving, because I don't know if you've ever heard of MD45, but that was that was Dave Mustaine and Lee Ving together. And then when they re-released it, he completely removed all of Lee Ving's vocal tracks and his harmonica parts, and just kind of turned it into kind of a Megadeth album. But yeah, when I saw Lee Ving, I'm like, oh shit, that was MD45. That album was okay. was it
okay?
No, it was very much just like, well, that's Super Collider.
True.
All right. Let's go ahead and we have 2 more tracks to play, if I've done this right. This next song is about Talking Baby. Huh?
I thought it was 3 tracks that I uploaded, because there were 3 bonus tracks, if I'm not mistaken.
Just going by what I have here. I kind of went a little out of order, because I went by what the list from. I went by the list on Wikipedia instead of the order that you put these in.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway.
Because Look Who's Talking is one of them. Last Dying Wish was one of them. Okay. And then what was the other one?
Hate You.
Yeah, I was going to say the Japanese one.
Nice. All right, so this next song is about a talking baby. This is Look Who's Talking.
Tell me you've been talking. I hear you got a big mouth, saying things you know aren't true. What the hell are you talking about? Now we have a conundrum, and the problem is clearly you. This is the part where it gets ugly, and the solution getting rid of you. You'll never be safe in the shadows. I'll be waiting in the dark with a shovel and a bag full of lies. Hopefully the devil made me do it. I look who's talking and I see a big nothing looking back at me. Mine is just to do or die. It's not the reason why I can't let me be stop and lie. Don't you think I have friends besides you? You call me out, you couldn't resist. I'll never stop until I find you. That's when you're gonna cease to exist. How stupid do you have to be to think the trail of evidence that you left won't boomerang back in your face to your moth-eaten brain by mess? Like the wolf that doesn't howl, concealed and ready to attack. It's time to pay with your flesh, and you'll never stop me. I look who's talking and I see a big nothing looking back at me. Mine is just to do or die.
Alright, so what'd you think of that one?
It needed more talking babies.
Well, this is the first time I heard it. I've never heard any of the iTunes bonus tracks.
I thought it was pretty good. In the interest of, go ahead, finish up.
I was just gonna say, you talk about on the nose, man. When Dave Mustaine gets pissed off at somebody, he doesn't hesitate to write a freaking song specifically about exactly how he feels about that person. Many a song in his catalog is specifically about somebody, and when he's completely pissed off about him. He's a very angry man. I think we can pretty much that's the genre he's in. But just by looking at the lyrics while you were playing that song, yeah, he's upset.
You know, reading these lyrics, I can see this being a Donald Trump speech.
Yeah, that'll work out really well.
Look who's talking. A big nothing looking back at me.
Oh, man.
All right, in the interest of time and before I pass out, this is our last track of the night, and then we're going to call it a night, folks. This is Me Hate You as opposed to He Hate Me.
Oh,
that was an XFL.
I
So in conclusion, despite some of the familiar elements from earlier albums, I would say if you're a Megadeth fan, you like good old-fashioned thrash, this album is for you. I thought it was pretty good. I would give it a solid B+ on my imaginary scale. And I wish Megadeth, another 10, 20 years of success. I hope they keep going out there and touring and doing their thing. Jesse, and then Rob.
I just want to, that last song's great. It sounded pretty good. Again, it was another one that I hadn't had a chance to listen to yet. There is another track that's on Spotify. It's a bonus track called Melt the Ice Away. I would suggest anybody has a chance to get on Spotify. It is free. You just might have to listen to some ads, but it's a good song called Melt the Ice Away, so check it out. As for the album as a whole, I definitely dug it. I tell you, I wrote this out here earlier. If you feel America is headed in the wrong direction, this is the band for you. If you've never heard of Megadeth, but you're just pissed off at the way America's going, put this album on. There's no better way to support your anger towards a government than to blast some Megadeth. I give it a thumbs up.
And shoot a tank through their window.
Thank you.
Quick, Jesse. What was the real name of He Hate Me? Go.
Oh, dude, I can't remember. I was sitting here the whole song. I was like, what was that dude's name? I can't remember what his real name was.
He went to the Super Bowl with the Panthers. His name is Rod Smart.
There you go.
There you
Congratulations
go.
on your Panthers, by the way. I wanted to tell you that. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is so nice to finally see my team win. It's just unfortunate that the rest of that there's an entire wagon that I'm kind of dragging behind me. Because everybody says they're not a bandwagoner, but when I can tell you like half of the squad that went 1-15, you could fuck off. But anyways, as for this album, this is the album that's going to make metal great again.
Nice.
Oh, Don Trumpy. Never forget. Yeah, I had a Hispanic customer. One day my hair was doing something weird. He goes, you remind me of that political guy. What was his name? Don Trumpy. So now he is forever Don Trumpy. But Don Trumpy. This album is fucking awesome. I love it. Every time I listen to it, I love it a little more. I think is this how it is when you have a kid? Like the more you look at it, the more you love it. Yeah. So, fuck it. I might just give it a 10 out of 10 just because I'm at that honeymoon stage with it.
Damn, man.
Good. Yeah, I think so. It's early in the year. Just wait. By the time we hit about halfway, I'm going to start throwing out 7 out of 10s like they're candy. But but only 7 out of 10s. You get about 8. That means you actually did something. But probably about 10, 9.5 or 10. Something like that. It's a really well done album. It's just such a return to form compared to Super Collider. The guitars are fucking shredding. The only real detriment is some of the political stuff's on the nose, kind of obvious. Dave Mustaine doesn't have a whole lot of dynamic vocal range, but has he really ever? So yeah, this album is fucking great. Is it in their top 5? Maybe. Okay, maybe it is a 9 out of 10. But I don't know if it's quite in their top 5.
It is later in the year. And notice how his grade has gone down just within 10 minutes.
It has. Well, I was thinking 10 minutes. No, 2. Not even 2 minutes. Because I was like, is this in their top 5? That's really, really hard. So, I don't know, this is definitely, album. I feel like this is still one of those albums that at the end of the year, it's going to show up on a lot of top 10, top 20 lists, whatever. All I know is I'm not going to write one for a while. But just so well done. I'm really happy that it's out now in January, so we have something good to review and don't have to do album retrospectives until March.
All right. And folks, Metal Hammer of Doom, the only place where you can get one guy give you a grade scale of A to F, and another guy give you a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then Coop will give you a 0 to 10. We've covered all the ratings.
Yeah. Yeah, see, usually I've started doing out of 5. Well, actually, no. Remember, I gave it I gave it 9 out of 10 because usually I'll take it back down to a 0 to 5 scale because technically that's the same thing if you use half stars. But yeah, see, we cover all of our bases here in the Metal Hammer Doom. Not only do we give you bonus content from other bands that you didn't want to hear, we give you jokes that you didn't want to hear, and old man conversations that you were like, what do you have to do with Megadeth?
We love our listeners.
Mark,
are you still awake?
I'm still awake.
All right. I'm holding to that New Year's resolution, man.
What, he's not going to fall asleep during a podcast?
Yeah.
I'm going to stay in fast here, and we've got 4 more minutes before Blog Talk probably unceremoniously cuts us off.
Yep, Blog Talk can eat my ass.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Metal Hammer of Doom. Avantasia comes out now. As a matter of fact, if you go to your local record store or you go on to Spotify, you should be able to find Avantasia Ghost Lights wherever records are sold. And we'll be reviewing that in when are we reviewing it? We'll be reviewing that on February 18th. Our next, the next 2 Thursdays are actually going to be dedicated to Long Road to Ruin. Long Road to Ruin got kind of a late start this year. So Long Road to Ruin on February 4th. We'll be reviewing the Hobbit movies and a little bit of Return of the King since that conversation got cut short. Thank you, Blog Talk. We'll be starting Black History Month on the 11th of February with the Shaft trilogy, the original, not the Samuel L. Jackson ones. Then Metal Hammer of Doom is back. We'll be reviewing Ghost Lights. Then Beverly Hills Cop trilogy on the Long Road to Ruin. And then on March 3rd, we'll be reviewing Anthrax for All Kings, the new Anthrax album. Couple of more announcements for Metal Hammer of Doom. Coming this March 17th, Covers 3, Army versus Navy. I've already got it on the calendar.
It's going to be classic.
And then, just because of the way things are breaking out, we'll be skipping 2 weeks again. And on April 7th, we'll be recording the new Baby Metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by... What?
I was going to say, we need to bring your wife and Teasley back.
Oh, we will. I'll make her stay up. April 7th is Metal Hammer of Doom Baby Metal Resistance. We'll be doing a back-to-back episode on the 14th of April. Amon Amarth. It'll be a couple of weeks after it's already come out, but we'll get to it. Dawn's Viking. And then on April 28th, Metal Hammer of Doom Killswitch Engage Incarnate. And then finally, on May 5th, Metal Hammer of Doom Rob Zombie, baby. Yeah. So get a little of the name of this album. Rob Zombie, the Electric Warlock Acid Witch Satanic Orgy Celebration Dispenser.
Are you shitting me?
You know, I really used to feel like he just kind of took the old White Zombie albums and just kind of clipped out the words and all the titles, threw them in a hat, and said, "All right, boys, let's see what we can do."
All right, and finally, and I feel bad that we're not going to get to this until May, but we lost Lemmy this year, and we lost Lemmy before I could get the whole schedule organized, so I feel bad about that. And I wanted to dedicate some time to him. I didn't want to do like I did with Bowie, just, 1 hour, let's hear some songs, tell some stories. I want to do a full Motorhead retrospective. And after looking at his catalog, I said, well, that's going to need 2 shows. So we will proudly be presenting the Metal Hammer of Doom Motorhead retrospective, part 1, on May 19th. And then
May 19th?
Oh, my gosh. Are you seriously throwing it back to that? That is some old school WWF right there.
May 19th? Oh, God, shut up. May 19th, and then we'll be doing part 2 of our Motorhead retrospective on May 26th. So that's all the shows between now and May. I haven't started working on June yet. I figured let's get out of January first. All right.
Are we doing 23 albums? Holy shit, Motorhead! No wonder they have so many out. They had 3 albums come out in 1979. Holy shit, Speedballs must be like fucking musical magic.
That's amazing.
Now you know why I want to do this in 2 parts.
Christ on a cracker.
All right. We are now out of time. I want to get out of here before we get cut off. So, Coop, do your plugs and do them fast. Do your dance quick. Come on, baby. Tell me what's the word up.
Oh, this is Basic Thugonomics. Let's see. So, in terms of what I have to plug, well, I don't really do a whole lot outside this at this point. Isn't that funny? When we started this, I had like 5 podcasts. Now that we're here, I have like 2. There's the Wrestling to the Max podcast, which is my buddy Sean Garmer. That's on the W2M Network page on Spreaker.com. Find their Facebook page at the Wrestling to the Max. They're awesome. Like, Sean does news all day, and it's really cool stuff. Hopefully we can get him on for a podcast sometime this year. He also has a cooperative multiplayer page, which is Co-op Multi on Spreaker.com. I might show up on there one day. And then as for me, since I write a podcast, I'm almost caught up on Kamen Rider Ghost, so maybe I'll get a podcast out sometime before June. So that's myself, my buddy Hunter. You can find us at Facebook, facebook.com/Sentai Rider Podcast. That is SENTAR. RIDER podcast. And it's really funny. We've not released anything since the October before this past one. So it's been like a year and change. And like now we're getting the influx of people liking the page. Like, huh? Like, I don't understand people's Facebook habits. But you know what? We'll fucking take it. You know, well, I mean, will we still be the lowest rated podcast on the network? Oh, duh. But, yeah, I think we're going to have some fun. So, yeah, maybe we'll have an episode sometime in the next 3 months.
All right.
Go, Jesse, go. Jesse. Oh, yeah, and we have a podcast, Jesse. We have like 3 of them that we totally talked about that we're going to schedule sometime in the next 5 years.
Yes, me and Coop, I promise you, me and Coop will be doing a source material podcast at some point. We're going to be talking some, most likely Vinland Saga first. So anybody that's out there that enjoys reading a good manga, folks, this is going to be a lot of fun. Me and Coop will be putting something out after the Super Bowl hits. We're going to be pre-recording it and have it all ready. As for myself, you can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter. Coming up on the Source Material podcast, where we do comic book talk. We kind of spoil some stories for you, and folks, get out there and give it a listen. This coming Monday, I called an audible, and I'm splitting up one of the most recent podcasts that I did. I got to have Mark on here, and we talked about the Suicide Squad trailer, and we also talked about the Deadpool trailer and some of the controversy that's going on around there. And Mark went off about this guy by the name of George Lucas. It was really interesting. So if you guys want to check it out, it should be airing Monday. I've got it all edited up and ready to rock and roll. Ronnie was on there too, my good buddy Ronnie from the Screaming Boy podcast. Speaking of the Screaming Boy podcast, I am doing something right now called the Hulu Documentary Diary. It's a Screaming Boy exclusive, where what I have decided to do is I'm watching all the Hulu documentaries alphabetically, and I'm doing a podcast on them, trying to keep them quick, but you know how that goes. Also, me and Jason Teasley do the From the Cheap Seats podcast. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. We are going to be talking the Super Bowl here probably next week, and then maybe run a show after that. And then we're going to go into the ether for a little while. Football's off, podcasts off. Now, I want to also take a couple quick seconds and tell you guys thank you very much for letting me come on here and talk about one of my favorite bands, Megadeth. I can't tell the listeners much more other than these guys here educate you on metal. There's been so much I learned, so many bands I've come to enjoy just by listening to this podcast. So check us out on iTunes. Don't forget to give that Radulich and Broadcasting Facebook page a like. Stitcher. I'm done.
You can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark Radulich, MarkRadulich. It's where I advertise all of our podcasts, the very many that I do. I'm on a forthcoming episode of The Casual Heroes. This week they piss me off.
Ooh, the triumphant return.
Yeah.
I give it a week.
You give it a week, huh? So there's that. You can also, and whenever there's a Republican debate, you can find me live tweeting those. The Iowa caucus is going to be this week. I will be live tweeting the results. You know, let's all root for Trump. Come on.
Trump.
LOL. Trump wins.
No. Trump is the candidate this country deserves.
Yeah. They deserve him, all right.
And with that, conquer or die. # the real Donald Trump. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. When it comes to buying a pre-owned vehicle, Moss Nissan is simply the best. With one of the largest selections of pre-owned vehicles in the Tampa Bay area, we have options for every situation and budget. And every vehicle comes equipped with Moss Care, which gives you added peace of mind and features and benefits such as lifetime oil changes, roadside assistance, and so much more. Visit us today and let one of our knowledgeable team members give you all the information you need to make an informed car buying decision. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Florida Central Credit Union offers more holiday cheer. 'Tis the season to spend lots of money on parties, decorations, gifts, and at Florida Central, they get it. That's why they offer easy checking, where you earn cash rewards deposited the same day when you use your Florida Central debit card to make purchases. And then the Savvy Savings account helps you save all the cash back you've earned. Visit a branch or go to FloridaCentralCU.com and live your best Florida life this holiday season. Membership eligibility requirements and other restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.